Yo, yo. It's your boy T.Wade coming at you. T.Wade the Dragon coming at you in full effect today on a Wednesday night. Feeling kind of good. It's been a long day. I got one of them jobs that just keeps me awake, keeps me up. I'm home now, but been gone for 13 hours because I got a long shift. They do that holiday thing at my job. So, yeah, it's one of them days. I'm flying solo tonight. I didn't bring anybody in because I got a really big show coming up in 2 weeks. So I do want to welcome you tonight to T.Wade's To the Point. Yeah, we to the point, and literally we're gonna get to some stuff because there's some things that hit me, and I just wanted to. I felt a need to talk on these things. I felt a need to accentuate my feelings on these things because they didn't make sense to me. They need to make sense. We're gonna have we got a big show coming up in 2 weeks about the topics I'm about to talk on. We got several guests coming on. Um, it's gonna be huge. So definitely try to make it. Definitely try to make it because it's going to be huge. I'll be throwing out feelers and reminders for you so that you know to be on gear. We're going to sidetrack the music and everything else because I want to get to the point tonight. We're going to talk about relationships, which we did a little bit of last week. We did a bit of that last week, and it was an interesting conversation. It was kind of nice, actually. It was nice, but the points that I wanted to hit on last week, I didn't hit on them like I wanted to. This week, we're gonna hit on. We're gonna talk some. We're gonna talk about some stuff because it didn't. The stuff I heard didn't make sense to me. It probably did, and there will be some people who will get offended. Because that's what opinions do. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got one, and I will share mine. I'm an OG for those that may not know, but those that do know, well, you know. But I'm an OG, and I my thought process flies a particular way. Um, Goes old school. My music is old school. There's just I'm a basic guy with some standards, and when it comes to how men work with their women, I always tell people, yeah, these are emotions and these are feelings and opinions that could possibly get me kicked out of the men's club. I always say that. But hey, it worked for Steve Harvey. Like, he didn't care if he got kicked out. I definitely ain't worried about getting kicked out of the men's club. I'm all man and I know what I am. And, at the end of the day, like I said, everybody has an opinion. So let me give you mine. Okay. I was watching a show. Actually, it was, online. I went to YouTube just looking for stuff. I'm at work and I'm working, but I need to be entertained while I'm working. So I'll listen to things, if I'm not listening to music, then I'll find podcasts to listen to. And I came across a podcast a few weeks ago, and it kind of bothered me. The thought process that they had really bothered me. It was talking about when there was like three guys on, um, and they had three women, and they were talking, and they were enjoying themselves, at first, but things got a little funny. Things got a little funny because opinions. Remember that through this whole thing, everybody has one, and they had an opinion. Now the women were asking pointed questions, and it wasn't necessarily it wasn't a relationship type thing, but wanted to know. They hit on a bunch of things. Like, they hit on, can a woman be an alpha? They talked on the legitimacy of a woman being an alpha, being with a man who's an alpha, and can that work or can that not work? It can work. It can work. Now, again, young bloods, these guys are like in their they're in their mid, not, I'd say mid to lower 20s. They've got an opinion. That's fine. Everybody's got one. I'm gonna keep saying that through this whole thing because y'all need to remember everybody has an opinion, and your opinion is yours, whether or not people like it or not. That's your opinion. So they're talking in terms of women not being alphas. Like, that's not a thing. Like, it just started. This is something that just came into the mix, and women always trying to be more than they're supposed to be, and they're always trying to be men, and it got ugly. It got ugly. Like, now here's my opinion. Here's my opinion. When it comes to women, when it comes to women, I believe in the power of a woman. I do. I believe that women are very powerful. I believe that women have the power to do things, that men don't. I have great stock in women. I'm not just saying this because I have a wife, like a beautiful woman who is awesome, does what she does, and she runs business. She does her thing. But at the end of the day, you know, she married an alpha. Okay, for those who are into astrology and all that stuff, I'm an Aries. I was born in April. Uh, Shout out to all the Aries out there. But yeah, I'm an Aries, and we tend to be headstrong. We tend to be leaders, and um, we tend to be alphas for the most part. Not all Aries are alphas, but for me, for me, I feel like I married an alpha woman. Um, they had all these arguments about how women can't be alphas because it wouldn't work. The two alphas just don't mix. There's always a problem. Alphas don't last. Well, guess what? Alphas and betas don't last. You got plenty of people out there who are alphas and they're married to betas, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work is because they're people, and people have emotions and opinions. So whether you're two alphas or you're an alpha and a beta, it doesn't matter. Their logic was crazy. Their explanation, what it came down to for me is that they were young bloods who felt that they run stuff. They are supposed to be the ones. There's nothing wrong with being a breadwinner. There's nothing wrong with being a support to your wife or your woman. There's nothing wrong with wanting to take care of her. That's fine. But you cannot go at somebody. You can't do it. You can't go at somebody because they're a female and they're headstrong. Like, if some men like a strong woman, most men I know like a strong woman. They don't want a woman that's just gonna sit in the cut and do nothing. A woman that doesn't know how to form her own opinions. But then you got these young bloods, and some of them do. Some of them like having a situation where they run everything. You're gonna do something as a woman, and you're gonna have to go through. You're gonna have to go through. Them to get it. They'd rather be the head of the house, but they want to be the head. Like, you don't run anything by me, then you're in trouble. That's a problem because I'm the head. This is my show. Like, me and Kai, when we got together, we were both headstrong, and we still are. She believes in what she believes in. I believe in what I believe in. You know what I mean? We try to work it together. It's called compromise. We do what we have to do. We both have our own opinions, and we ride those. I allow, I allow space for that. She allows space for that. We're not overpowering each other. We try not to. There are a lot of times, where it can be said, well, Tone, you tend to want things to be your way. No, I want things to be right. Things need to make sense to me. Things need to make sense. Now, when you get with a woman, what you're supposed to do, my opinion, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to talk about, the first thing you want to do is you want to talk about these things that may be different, that come inside of your relationship, things that you may encounter, or things that would potentially make the marriage fail or succeed. You want to be on the same page. A lot of people aren't on the same page because they don't have that conversation. We covered that last week. Got to have that conversation. You got to have conversation. Conversation is everything. But again, the young bloods, they don't always want, and then you get some old heads that are the same way. Don't want to have that conversation because the bottom line is, hey, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. My woman is going to be what she's going to be. She's just going to sit on her femininity, and that's it. She's not supposed to be alpha. She's not supposed to have opinions that are supposed to matter. And if she has an opinion and mine is different, her opinion doesn't matter. That's wrong to me. Doesn't work. Doesn't make a marriage work. Doesn't make a relationship work. Doesn't. Because you have to be able to hear what the other is saying in order to be able to communicate effectively. And people don't know how to communicate effectively. They don't know how to get their point across without being, point blank blunt with everything. They don't like it, and it's a problem if they get with somebody and they decide to show that side of them. And now another thing that they hit on, one of them said, you know what, cheating happens. It's just a thing. Like it's no big deal. No big deal. You have a woman that's telling you that she's hurt over it, but when you talk to a group of people, your thing is it's what they do. Like cheating does happen. It's not like it doesn't happen, but it's not, you don't put it in a way to where, okay, it's just simply a norm. This is what we do as men. We do this. Girl asked him, if you are not getting what you want at home, why not just leave? He said, because it's a normal thing. Like it is what it is. So like if I see something I want over there and I'm not getting it from home, then yeah, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna get it. But I that don't mean I don't love her. Don't mean I don't want to be over here with her. It doesn't mean I'm gonna leave because shoot, I got this over here. That's just a thing. That's just a thing. Now, my opinion, but I hate hearing these guys talk about how it wasn't love. I love you. It wasn't anything. It didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. Then why you do it? We're just doing meaningless things out here. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. Meaningless things that don't matter. Like, I don't get why you get with a woman if you want to go around sleeping with 12 others. You think that's the way that's supposed to be. Hey, Solomon had all these wives, so why can't I have all these girls on the street? Right? That's what we're doing now. Like it's a problem. It's a problem. I think that women, they're more of the type to think with their emotions. They do. I'm not downing ladies out there. I love you all, but men don't always think like that. We have a black and white thought process sometimes. Some of us do have that gray area. My wife had to teach me that there is a gray area because I'm like, look, it's either right or it's wrong, which would be the basic thought. It's either right or it's wrong. There, what are you talking gray? But she had to show me exactly what that meant. And when she did, I had a different understanding on the gray area, and most women do walk in that gray area. Men do not always walk in the gray. We don't. We tend to classify our thought process as logical. It's not always logical. It's logical to us. But I think the way you treat a woman means everything, says everything, does everything. Why would you be in a situation where you want to discredit the woman you're with by treating her like she's beneath you, like she's nothing but a charm on your bracelet, or she's nothing but a fixture in your home? Like, women mean something, and we as men tend to forget. We don't always treat women as we ought. We don't always look to the value of what a woman is in our life. Like I tell my wife all the time, I don't know where I'd be without her, because she does make me a better person. Because I know she makes me a better person, I show I show her the respect that she's due because she adds value to my life as my wife, because she is who she is to me, and because she has shown me how she's there for me, cares for me, lifts me. Um, yeah, I tend to let her know that I see the value that you bring to the table. I see what you're doing in our lives and in our relationship, and I'm so respectful and grateful for that. That I'm not just gonna do any old thing that might end up hurting her. Now there are going to be times where things, not every relationship is perfect, not every marriage is perfect. There's going to be problems, always. There's always going to be problems. I had somebody tell me years ago, they told me, they said, if you don't have some type of problem in your marriage, it's not exciting. It's boring when you're not, because sometimes when you go through things, you tend to pick up lessons. You tend to learn lessons when you go through some things. With some people, now I don't want to say everybody because that becomes a whole nother conversation. But when you're talking in terms of a relationship, yeah, you'll go through those rough, rocky roads. You're gonna do that. That's gonna happen. But when you do go through them, you need to learn how to respect the persons you're with and their opinion as well as their feelings, because it makes a difference. If you're not doing that, if you're not in a level, if you're not at a level where you can respect the person you're with, then why are you with them? You know, I had a friend today. I had a friend, you know, telling me about, his relationship and everything, and it's bad. Like things are rough for him. Now he respects her, but the question is, with the stuff that they are going through, does she really respect him? And do you want to stay in a relationship just because you're in one with someone who doesn't respect you, doesn't respect your values, doesn't respect your opinion? Do you want to be with somebody who doesn't respect your feelings? Um, and I had to tell him, these are things you need to think on. These are things you need to consider because you're feeling disrespected, and you're telling me you've been feeling disrespected for a minute now. But it's been almost a year you feeling disrespected. At some point you want to evaluate that thing, reevaluate, because it just because you're in a relationship. I mean, some people do it just because they're lonely. Some people do it because they just don't want to be alone. um and that's a thing. But there's also that saying, which is, I could be bad all by myself. And it's true. Like, you don't need somebody to make you feel worse than you already feel. You don't need somebody to make you feel like you're beneath them and you're not worth their time or energy, and their opinion doesn't matter, their feelings are secondary. You don't want that. You do not want to be in that type of situation, because it's draining. It brings like to the table. What it's bringing to the table is a bunch of confusion, a bunch of ill feelings towards one another, and those feelings, they do tend to carry with them a hardship that could tear you apart. Like, I went through that in my life. I've gone through a relationship where the woman I was with, and I was with her for years, we didn't sync like we were supposed to. And it was years before I knew that I was being emotionally beat down. I was being emotionally abused and didn't know it. You know, that's not something that you live with. That's not something that you you should be okay with at all. At all. You do not get into a relationship so you can tear the person down and disrespect them. But why, when I know, and I've been saying this, preaching this for years, why am I going to get with somebody? If I have somebody at home, if I have Kai who's at home and she's doing her thing, like the woman, you know, she's one of the best cooks I know. So, like, my stomach is always full. She knows how to keep a clean house. She knows how to respect herself and she respects others. She's driven. She knows how to hold me up when I'm about to fall down. She knows that she's my running partner. She knows it's ride or die. If I have that at home, if I have somebody who's there for me when the going gets rough, why am I going to go to Susie and play around with Susie? Why? When I got what I got at home and I know that she respects me. I know that she respects me. I know that she's there for me. Why am I going to play around with Susie when Kai is everything I need? The girl that asked him that question was correct in every way. Like, if you have what you need at home, and even if you're missing something, why not converse? Why not talk about it? Why not figure it out and then move on from there? Why like try to fix what's wrong? Instead of trying to fix what's wrong, you want to hold on to her and go to the next girl and get what you're missing in the relationship that you don't want to let go because you know what you got at home. And you know that what you have at home is meant for you. You just need a little bit of excitement or something. And then this dude went and categorized that as normal. Why is that a norm? Why is that a norm? I don't get why that's a norm. This woman is hurting at home. And here's another thing. When you get when you get out of that relationship, say you're mad, y'all split ways, y'all go your separate ways. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks y'all been separated. And then you see her with Johnny Smooth. Now you mad. Now you're mad about it. But guess what you did? You went and got with Susie. And it was normal. It was normal. And you were with her. You were with your girl when you decided to get with Susie. You were with her. So now you step out on Susie. You step out with your girl, from your girl and get with Susie. Now you with Susie. Now your woman done found out. Now she don't want to be bothered. Now you're like, well, screw it. I don't want to be bothered either. Y'all split ways. Now 2 weeks later, you see her with Johnny B. Smooth, and you're mad. You're mad. I don't get the logic in that. I don't understand it. Like, why is that a thing? Why do men do that? I don't get it. Y'all can kick me on the men's club all you want. Let's talk about it. Let's get to the point. And the point is you screw up. So now you have a ramification that you have to take on. And you don't want to take that on. You done lost what you had at home because you needed a little snack. You had a whole daggone meal plus dessert at home. But I don't want peach cobbler. I want apple pie. So I'm going to go to Susie's house. Now your woman don't want to mess with you. And she's wrong because nowadays that's the norm. The norm is we're going to get with whoever we want. We're going to do what we want. And our woman need not say anything about it because that's a norm. That's what we do. And then he's going to say, if my woman allows it, if my woman don't have a problem with it, of course she has a problem with it. Rock star, of course she has a problem with it. Come on now. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? She has a problem, but half of y'all want your women to just shut up and ride while you do what you do. And then we're going to bypass that. We're not going to look at that because that ain't nothing but a thing. And then you're going to use that cornball roll, that cornball line that you always use, which is she didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. So again, you're doing meaningless crap. You just out there doing stuff that don't mean anything. And that's how you're spending your time. That's what you're doing. And women are fed up with that crap. So now you've got women out there doing what they got to do. They've got to control their lives because when they get with a man who they're willing to share their time with and share their all with, he's messing with Susie. He won't mess with Susie. So now she's becoming strong. See, what we don't know as men, what we refuse to look at, what we don't realize is when you get hurt, In that way, you could tend to get stronger from what you've gone through. Some people tend to learn what they didn't know. They learn from their mistakes. So now we have a situation. Now we have a situation where wifey or your girl has decided, I'm done being the weaker link. I'm done being, okay with what you're doing. Come on. At the end of the day, something's got to give. At the end of the day, something's got to give. We need to be more respectful with the women we're with. We do. Now, that does not say that the women are perfect, and it doesn't say that they don't make some of the same mistakes. Again, if you got a good man at home, you got a good man at home, why are you gonna go mess with Jimmy on the corner? Why? You got a good man at home. Why are you? What is it you're looking for that your man's not delivering? And if he's not delivering, why not just leave him and go get with Johnny now? Go get with Jimmy or Johnny. Why not go get with them instead? Why? Because there's a criteria that everybody looks for. And you're probably looking at like 10 different things that you may want in a man, which was also part of the conversation to the show I was watching. What makes a good man? A good man, what makes a good person in general? But yeah, what makes a good man? Listen, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, there's a list of things. Now, if you have a list of 10 things you want in your man and he's delivering 9 of them, is that enough? It might depend on exactly what it is that you're looking for and what value you're placing on the thing that he's missing. Now, if he's not, let's be point blank, if he's not good in bed, that could be your thing. Okay, well, yeah, he's got 9 things he's good at. He provides, he cooks, he does laundry, he can do the yard work. He takes me where I gotta go. He buys me gifts. Okay, he tells me he loves me. He treats the kids cool. He is all about giving me time. Okay, there's a bunch of things here. He takes me where I want to go. He'll take me places. Whoa, but the sex is off. How do you reconcile it? How do you reconcile it? You done gave 8 reasons why you can keep them, but one reason will ruin it all and take it all. That's just an example. But I'm asking, what exactly is a good man to you? Because my friend that I was talking to earlier, he seems like he's a good dude. Like, I know him. I talk to him all the time, every day. We have conversations, and this dude be halfway looking like, Tone, I don't know what to do. What else am I supposed to do? This is a stay home dude. This is a clean the house dude. This is a, I'm with you. This is a let's kick it kind of guy. He's not out there flipping around, cheating. He's not doing all that good stuff that, these people out there doing. He's a good man. He holds his woman down. He tries all the time. But her focus is elsewhere. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to figure that one out, dude. You've got to figure it out. He's ready to give her, what she wants, give her what she needs. She want to talk to other dudes. She wants to talk to another dude. Why? Well, what do you got? What you got at home? This dude is a hard worker. I know because I work with him. Hard worker, brings home the money, pays the bills. Why is he irrelevant in your life when it comes to other dudes? That type of situation where you walk in the door and she got to hang up the phone. I had a woman like that. She's stuck on some other dude. I'm working every day. I'm giving her all I can. I'm giving her all of me. I got a song about it. Well, it's not about that, but I got a song that's like, I gave you everything. Everything I had. Gave you everything I had. At the end of the day, I come in and she hanging up the phone real quick because she been on the phone with her ex. Okay, so be with your ex. I ain't gonna hate on you as long as you ain't doing me dirty. As long as you with me and you messing with him, you doing me dirty. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Why is it okay for us to creep on the people we supposedly love? Why is that an okay thing? Why is it okay to have lack of communication, not talk about the things that are missing in a relationship? And there are deal breakers, but know that ahead of time. Like don't spend eons with somebody. Don't do that. And you know that they're missing, they're not giving you everything, because you're gonna turn around, you're gonna get with somebody else who you feel is gonna give you what you're missing. At the end of the day, you don't give them a second thought, you don't communicate, you don't try to show them how to fix whatever it is. Maybe he ain't a good cook. I mean, you're not trying to fix it. Your solution is to go hang out with the person next door. Do your sneak attack and be on the phone, sending pictures and everything else to the next dude or the next girl. Like, when are we going to get 100 with the people we're with? When are we going to hold down the people that we are with? When are we going to learn to admonish? When are we going to learn to be appreciative for the stuff that we have at home? When are we going to do that? Because right now, we got a lot of broken homes. Right now, we have a lot of people out there that are just playing Mac Daddy or Sweet Susie out there. Like, we've got a lot of people out there. And it's becoming commonplace. And I hated it when he said it. Excuse me. I hate it when he said, well, it's normal. That ain't no big deal. What? When did it not become a big deal? When did it cease to be a big deal that you're creeping on the person that you try to talk about and how you love? And it's okay to creep on the person that gives you everything they have, gives you their all. Get out the relationship. If you can't hang, if they're missing what you need, rather than tearing them down, rather than hurting them later on, move on. Move on. And it seems to have become a power struggle. At the same time, men versus women. There's no unity. There's no lifting up. Like, men tend to fight against allowing their women to have any type of, shall we say, power, um, any type of say, any type of like when men just feel a need to be in control. They do. Like it. I mean, some men are nice out there. Some men do what they need to do. They treat their women like queens. My woman is my queen. She is, and I address her as such. I mean, y'all might have seen it. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, I post about my wife because I love her, and I'll shout it from the top of the roof. Like, I give to her. There was this situation this past week. There was something I wanted online. Anybody that knows me knows she comes first. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't normally do for myself on a regular. Not because she won't let me, not because I feel it's wrong, but because I just don't feel like doing for myself half the time. And she hit me up, and I told her I was at work working. I'm like, babe, you ought to see this. I text her something. I was like, this is really nice. I like it. I should get it, shouldn't I? She's like, you should get that. You deserve it. Again, holding me up, because that's what she does. And I looked at this her statement, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about deserving. I'm hard on myself. I'm gonna be harder on myself than anybody is on me. That is what it is. But she backed my desire. You know what I mean? And it made me feel good. But at the same time, I'm like, no, man, there's other things I could spend money on. There's other things. Now she said, well, she's like, I don't want to have to, maybe I don't think I should talk to you then about me using some money from my businesses out of the account. And I'm like, yeah, well, listen, we can talk about that when I get home, because she's building something and she needs that. So I got off the phone. 2 minutes later, she had the money. 2 minutes later, I shipped the money over to her, because that's who I am and that's who she is to me. You know what I mean? If you put value in somebody, it shouldn't just be lip service. It's like show them. And I'm not saying that it has to be monetary. I'm not saying that you got to go out and spend all kinds of money on your woman or your man. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, for the record, I put my woman first. These guys were talking like women are not first. They're not. You do not put them first. We're first. We run, we rule. That's how that works. That's not how that works. That not how that works, young blood. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion to the point. I'm not gonna make my woman feel like she's worthless. I don't want. I don't believe in that. I don't. If you love her, let her know. If you love her, work it. If you love her, show her. But come on, this thing where we get with people and we just treat them like they don't exist in our lives and they ain't done nothing. If they ain't doing nothing for you, then leave. Find somebody that's on your level. You know what I mean? Because that's important, and that's what makes a relationship work. You find somebody that you can coexist with, who's going to be there for you, your ride or die, somebody who's going to lift you up when the going gets rough. And trust, the going gets rough from time to time. It happens. It is what it is. But is that person going to hold you down? Is that person going to be that one that's like, babe, you down, let me lift you up. Let me show you who you are when you forgot? You know what I mean? Like, because life will beat you down. People be asking me, yo, how's life treating you? Life ain't treating me. Life ain't treating me. I'm treating life. I'm exerting all this energy just to make a happy life. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, like relationships are important, details are important, and I don't like where everything's going. I mean, and I think we've been there before. I know we've been there before. We started that way, like you know, even in my wife likes to point out how in the Bible, yeah, even there, women were second class citizens. They were at least treated that way. Um, but I would like to believe that we've progressed. I would like to believe that we've learned. I would like to believe that we've gotten to a point where we're a team. It's a team effort, and we are a family, and we are a couple, and we walk together. We represent one another, and we work with one another to lift each other and support one another. And it doesn't always happen that way. It doesn't happen that way a lot nowadays. My opinion, it doesn't happen like it should, and it sucks to see people go through. I mean, me and my wife are not perfect by any stretch, so please don't put that word in my mouth. I'm definitely not saying we're perfect. We have our duels. We're still, after 15 years, we're learning how to talk with one another. We're learning how to communicate, and we've made big strides, because it used to be, well, screw you. Well, yeah, screw you too. Used to be door slamming, used to be, dishes thrown in the cabinet, or cabinet door slammed, or stomping around the house, or, well, as my wife said, walking heavy. Communication wasn't always a thing, and it still is something that we work on as a whole. We do, because we want our relationship to work. Nobody sets out to have a failing relationship, but how you maneuver in that relationship depends. It doesn't depend, but it determines whether it fails or succeeds. And if you want a successful relationship, the first key to making sure that your relationship is successful is communication, because without communication, if you don't have communication, you don't have a relationship. Period. No communication, no relationship. Understand that. Let's say that again. No communication, no relationship, because it can't just be one person in a relationship saying everything, dictating everything. Yeah, I said it. Dictating. That's not what we do. That's not a recipe for success. Dictation. Come on. Like, when did that become a thing that was supposed to be acceptable in this time and age? It was back in the day. Like, things were what they were back in the day, and you live and you learn it. But women have taken on a different role as time has gone on. Some men agree with it, some don't. You know, women want equal rights, and once they started asking for equal rights, men are like, okay, well, if that's the case, you know, let's see how this works out for you. You know, like I know I'm gonna be kicked off the men's club, and I at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about it. At my age, I'm good. I don't need to be in the men's club. I'm a man and I know what I am, but I have an opinion and I'm going to speak on it because I like getting to the point of things. And the point of the matter is, without respect, if you don't respect somebody, you don't love them. You can't tell somebody you love them and you don't respect who they are. I don't respect you, but I love you. How's that? That's an oxymoron. Come on. That's an oxymoron. We need to stop with that one. We do. We need to stop with that. I love you. That's another thing I cannot understand it. And I know it's an emotional thing, it's a mental thing. I know people go through the abuse thing. I try not to touch it too much because I don't necessarily understand it like that. See, if you punch me in the face multiple times, multiple days, within multiple months of multiple years, no, we're not doing that. And I mean, I can say that as a man, but women get it. I mean, men do get abused. They do. But women also get abused. And for me, I find it hard, so to speak. I find it hard to stay in that situation. And we will be talking on that. That will be part of the 3-part. That's the last part coming up in 2 weeks. That's one of the topics that will be covered. But it's like, if you got a man that's beating you down, like always beating you down, why are you staying? I don't understand that. And that's what these young dudes are doing. Like, how many people you know who got a man and he hits her and they stay? He's literally talking that mess. How many women that have been cheated on and yet they stay with that man? That's a form of abuse. Still a form of abuse, dude. Abuse. Like, that's something we're going to cover later. We're going to cover that when I have my panel on. When they show up in 2 weeks, it's going to be on. Um, but there's a lot of expectations thrown on our companions when we're with them. There's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of demands that are made, but the expectations, like it again, with communication, you know what those expectations are. If you don't communicate, you don't know, and then you run into problems later on because you didn't know, and then you want to say, well, I didn't know, because y'all didn't communicate. And not everything is dead up in front of you to communicate on at first, but you need to know, you need to be able to set expectations for these things. Like, if for example, and I'm just saying example, I wanted my wife to cook every day because she's home and I'm at work, which, I mean, a lot of men are like, well, hey, if I'm out there breaking my back, the least she can do is cook. But if that's your thing, then let's talk about that. Let's make sure that's on the table. That's got to be on the table. If you want to have flowers from your man on Valentine's Day, it'd be nice if I gotta have somebody bringing me flowers every day. Put that on the table. Put it on the table. You know, I need to be able to be dated and go out once a month. Put that on the table. I don't like your socks on the floor. I don't want to have to be picking up clothes all the time. Put it on the table then. Put that on the table. I like a man in suits. I like a woman who knows who does her hair a particular way. I don't like curly hair. I mean, we're talking minute stuff right now, but at the end of the day, if it matters to certain people, then put that on the table. If it matters to you, put that on the table for the person you're with. What are we doing? What are we doing, people? I mean, that's the theme. The theme is conversation, communication. I mean, without it, it's a wrap. And right now, these young bloods are like, I'm nervous for the future. I am. I ain't even gonna lie. Not all of them are bad. Not all of them have like offset thought process, but at the same time, there's plenty that do. And this is a generation that's gonna come up behind us and gonna like regulate things for their generation. And we've already come out of this, out of the dark ages. We done already came out of like, okay, like for real. Back in the day, certain women were treated a particular way, and I got that. You know what I mean? But there were a lot of things that have changed, and I don't think a lot of guys are ready for that. They're not ready for the change. This guy, one of the kids on the show, he's like, women don't talk about femininity anymore. When are we gonna talk about femininity? I don't care what y'all done gone through. I'm building a life of mine, and I want to talk about femininity. All y'all women want to talk about is being alphas. All y'all want to talk about is being a strong woman. Y'all don't want to talk about femininity. When are we gonna talk about femininity? Well, guess what? Guess what? Experience has taught women to be in a stronger role. It's taught them to have to deal with things on a whole different level, because the men in their lives have done dirt, has done them dirty. Like, you really, had to go through it. They've had to go through it. So now you got the strong woman that man has created. Me personally, I like a strong woman. I do. And I'm not saying Arnold Schwarzenegger strong, but if she is Arnold Schwarzenegger strong, that's cool too. That's cool. I mean, whatever. But I don't want a weak woman that can't think for herself. I don't. Because when the going gets tough, I might need somebody who can use their brain. So why do I want a dummy, somebody that just follows? Why am I going to want that? They just, yes, yes, baby, no, baby, yes, baby, no, baby, yes, baby. My wife challenges me. She does, to think. When I say that, I mean, she challenged, her actions and her words. She challenges, and it makes me think. It makes me react. It makes me want to move forward and do what I need to do. She just did it again. She did it today. And sometimes I tend not to, think of the obvious. And she does. She thinks I'm the obvious. Like, which is something that I believe. I believe that when you get with somebody, they complete you. That's just not a line in a movie. Your companion should complete you. Like, you're only a half of a whole. You guys get together, you become a whole. You're half until you get together. She should be able to complete you. He should be able to. What you're not good at, your companion, spouse, whoever, maybe they are. You know what I mean? You make the complete pack. The things that I excel at, Kaya doesn't always excel at. The things that Kaya is great at, I am not that great at. Kaya is good with numbers. I'm not great with numbers. Tasha's good with, I'm good with talking to people. Tosh, like, doesn't like necessarily being in the crowds and speaking out like that. Like, there's things, Tasha's the great cook in the house. I know how to cook, but she is the cook. Like, that woman throws down. Anybody who's had her food, her desserts, and everything else. Like, in months, I gained massive weight. I did. I ain't gonna lie. But she's a cook. She brought that to the table. Like, if she was like me, then we'd be eating out all the time, because I know how to cook. I just don't like cooking. I don't like it. I do it when I have to. Every now and then I'll do it to relieve her, but I don't normally cook because I don't have the patience. But when I have to cook, I'm great at it. I know how to throw down. I had a mother who was like my wife when it came to cooking. They both went to school for cooking. My wife has a degree in cooking. So yeah, like, she brings that to the table. It's okay to not be good at something when your spouse is. You know what I mean? And sometimes I have to remind her, because she'll be like, man, I wish you would just do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, but you're better at it. It's what you do. You're good at it. Now, should I try to get good at it, to help her out? Yes. if I want to help her out and if she wants that help or needs it, yes, I should try to help her out. But at the end of the day, if I know she's good at it, she's the go-to in the relationship. As the man, I don't have to do everything or know everything or be everything in the relationship when she holds a part in this relationship as well, and vice versa. So it's working together that needs to be a thing. It's got to be a thing. I mean, you can't succeed if you don't work as a team. It's a team effort, and we got brothers out there that don't consider the woman they're with to be part of the team. You just a fan, or you're just a fan to them. They don't really care to work on a team level. They don't. The woman is beneath them, and that just can't be a thing. That cannot be a thing. Um, I shredded this one here, but at the end of the day, also, if you are going to be with someone, and if they're going to make little mistakes, if they're going to do something that's just, everything does not have to be volcanic. And that's what I tend to do from time to time. I tend to make mountains out of molehills. And at some point, again, communication, and I tend to, everything can be explosive with me because, like, I have expectations. I think on certain levels, and it's not always that. Like, I need to learn how to calm myself down. So you need to be able to recognize when you're not in the right spot or the same spot. You need to understand what it is that might falter. Like when I'm not abusive when it comes to the physical thing. I'm not an abusive man. I hit my wife. I've never, will never call her out her name. Not going to do that. That's my queen. Not going to do it. Um, but what I have done, and I'm transparent. So I'm transparent. What I have done is, if I'm mad about something, I don't like something, well, Tony picks up his toys and Tony jets. Tony will go to the man cave upstairs and he'll just chill. He'll go to the bedroom, he'll stomp away, he'll do whatever. If Tony doesn't believe in what you're saying, then you're trying to make him do something he doesn't want to do, then Tony gets upset. I get upset and I don't say anything. I don't, and again, supposed to have that communication. I don't say anything because I don't want to fight. I don't like fighting with my wife. I don't. I've had enough fighting in my life. I'm older now. I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do it. So if something happens, I get upset. Yes, I walk away. I am a silent killer. I am not explosive. So no, I'm not going to be throwing things. I'm not going to be slamming stuff. I'm not going to be cussing up a storm, calling you out your name. I'm not going to be laying my fist on your chin. None of that. None of that. But I am a silent killer. I am. Like, my silence hurts my wife. My silence in my anger hurts her whenever I've done it. So I've had to learn not to go there. I've had to learn how to redo it because I care about her and because I know who she is and what she brings to the table, because I know what my value of her is and what her value is in this relationship. I try to make sure that I don't do that. And I still get upset. I do. But I'm trying to learn how to taper that off and be the better person and not come like I do, because that's a silent thing. It's a killer and it hurts. And I don't want her to have to me, that's a form of abuse. And she brought that out to me. So being transparent, that's my fault that I've done. Those are the things I've done. But I'm not one of them dudes that's like, you can't talk to other dudes. I'm not one of them dudes that beats her, hits on her. I'm not one of those dudes that that's like, no, you can't go out and I don't care if your girls want to go out. That dude over there is going to be talking to you. So no, you can't go. I'm not that dude that tells her what she needs to wear and doesn't need to wear. She respects me enough to know what to wear and not to wear. I don't worry about it. I don't. I'm not the one that walks through the door like, "Where's my dinner?" No, that's not me. I'm not the dude that. There's just a lot that if you love your woman, you're gonna treat her as though she were you. How would you treat you? How would you want to be treated from her? How? What I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta be able to see that you're hurting somebody. Like going out and sleeping with people is not that's not something that's gonna make her feel good. How in the world is that make her feel good? And if that's not making her feel good, then how is that normal? Like this dude threw me with that. That's not normal. There's nothing normal about that. What are you doing? But again, this is where we're going. This is what's happening right now. Not a good thing. Um, Stuff is rough out here right now. Stuff is rough. People are they've got it backwards as far as I'm concerned. And yes, that's my opinion. But people have it backwards. They have it backwards. If you look at your faults and you look at her faults rather, like whoever whatever the person is, whoever you got, if you look at their faults and that's all you look at and you don't communicate, you're doomed to fail. And if you get nothing else out of this other than this, without communication, your relationship is dead. I don't care who you are. I don't care what roles you want to play. You're living a dead. If your woman's allowing you, she don't care that you treat her any old way in front of people or behind closed doors. If she don't care, and that's what she's allowing, literally, like she's at that level, then I mean, if that's what works for it, then I can't say nothing to that. If that's what works to her, but I would speak to the value that you placed on her if you're gonna treat her like that. That's I'm gonna speak on that because that's not right at all. Like it doesn't matter whether she accepts it or not. Would she rather have you all up all up on her, over her, threatening her and everything else and treating her like crap and cheating on her? Or would she rather you treat her like she was a queen? Whether she accepts that or not, that's not a norm. It's not a norm to be disrespectful to your woman. You're gonna call her every name out of the book. Would you do that to your mama? Well, some of you, I know dudes that come out the neck to their own mother. So me, I've never done it. I never will. My mother and I, we've argued. Yes, we do. We argue. We have had a love hate relationship. We have for real because our past has been turbulent. Yes, but I've never come out of my neck to her. I've never crossed her in that way, and my my mother knows that. My mother knows I love her. I know she loves me. We just handle things differently. But shoot, you're not going to treat your mother like on a normal day. You don't treat your mother like that. You don't call your mother a B. You don't tell mom to F off. You don't, none of that. You don't just, so why you do it to your wife? Why would you do it to your girl? Why would you treat her like she's second class? You know what I mean? I am going to end this live with an hour's worth of stuff because I've got a big day going on tomorrow. So I'm not going to take us to the hour and a half, 2 hour mark. Um, I've got to get up. It's 9 o'clock, and I got to get up in the morning at 4:30 to go to work, and then I've got to leave work and get teeth. I've got to get a tooth pulled tomorrow. I need my rest. I still haven't eaten. I went to the doctor's when I got out of work today, and I'm just tired. But I need to be able to eat. I need to wash up, get myself ready for tomorrow. So I'm going to end this live with this note. Love each other. Definitely acknowledge each other's value and worth, because let's get to the point of the matter. If you love somebody, you'll treat them like you love them. Bottom line. Come back this week, this coming Monday. Tune in at 11 in the afternoon, where you 11:30, where you will hear from my wife, who has a show called Behind the Eye of Kai. And she has some very interesting conversation that she has going on. We also have Tony and Kai's Sofa Chat, which will be this coming Wednesday. I know today is Wednesday, so next week on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Tune in for that. We have interviews, we talk about hot topics, we do it all. So join us. And then the following Wednesday, we're going to conclude this with a panel of 5, possibly 6, plus myself, and we're going to just blow this out. We're going to have questions, Q&A session going on, and we're going to get to the point of everything that we've been discussing for the past 2 weeks. And we're going to see how the ladies feel, we're going to see how the men feel, and we're going to roll it. Okay? Until then, I love you all, and understand, if there's things that we need to discuss, let's get to the point. Love you all. And until then, peace. This has been a Trailblazers production. I want to thank Brother Fred for everything that he does. You know, him and the team are awesome. Tune in to Trailblazer Radio, where you can get not just our shows, but the other hosts as well have great shows. You need to tune in. Trailblazers Radio, see what we got going on, website and all. Tune in, because you're going to get fed one way or the other. We all going to get you to the point. Peace.